Hello and welcome to your 9 p.m. daily quiz. It is time once again to revise a day's important news stories from the prelims examination point of view by discussing some questions based on them. Every single day we come here and discuss the important news stories by converting them into prelims specific questions and discussing them. I am really glad to see many of you have made it a habit of coming here and also attempting as many questions as possible. Do tell me in the comment section once again after today's quiz, how many did you get right? Let's go ahead and let's see with the first question for today. Also, a quick reminder, if you are new here, if you are coming for the first time, do hit the subscribe and the like button. And you can also download my app to check out the other courses that I'm running for the UPSC preparation. The link to download the app is in the description of this video. Question number 1. Consider the following statements with regards to dementia. Number 1. About 2/3 death due to dementia occur in women. So about 2/3 of people who die due to dementia are women. When brain cells are damaged, then dementia may occur. It can also be caused by a head injury, a stroke, a brain tumor, or even due to an HIV infection. Third, WHO is running the Global Action Plan on Public Health Response to Dementia 2017 to 2025. How many of these are correct with regard to dementia? It's one of the most deadly diseases that you can have. One of the top 10 diseases that kills most of the people around the entire world. The answer here is C. All three are correct. Most of the women, about 2/3 of them who die due to dementia are actually women. It can occur due to various reasons, mainly due to damage in the brain cells that may be caused by a lot of things. And WHO is running a global action plan on public health response to dementia. There's a detailed article in the Indian Express newspaper about how dementia is now associated with two new risk factors. Untreated vision loss and high cholesterol can also play a major role in a person catching dementia. Do read this article. There is no cure as such for dementia that has been found out. There are things that you can do to minimize the risk, like prevent or reduce hypertension, maintain a blood pressure that is in the ideal range after 40 years of life, detect and treat any kind of high cholesterol when you face such. You also have to reduce exposure to air pollution, make sure that you are screening yourself for vision loss, etc. Next question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to Parak. First, it acts as a constituent unit of NCERT. Second, it is also tasked with holding periodic learning outcome tests such as National Achievement Survey and State Achievement Surveys. Third, it works on 3 major assessment areas, that is large scale assessment, school-based assessment and examination reforms. The question is about Parak, that is Performance Assessment Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. It is a part of the new education policy, the national education policy that came out in 2020. Yes, it is a part of NCERT, it's a constituent unit of NCERT. It holds these periodic learning outcomes and yes, it works on all these 3 major assessment areas. All 3 are correct about Parak. The answer here is C. All 3 are correct. There is a detailed article in the Indian Express newspaper about how class 10 to 12th boards are tougher in Goa, Tripura, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra and Bengal, which has been found out by this assessment survey of Parak. It carried out an analysis, first of its kind by the union government over the past year, to develop a formula for standardizing assessment by school boards across the country. So what happens is, let's say you gave 12th from CBSE board, someone else gave it from some other board, someone else gave it from the state board. The marks may vary. So same student might get higher marks, let's say in CBSE and lower marks in the state boards. So to have that thing or sorted, to have that priority, to make sure that there is a kind of level playing field amongst the students, that is why this Parak statement or Parak assessment rather has been launched. Next question number 3. Consider the following statements. Number 1. Higher temperatures create more space between air molecules, which means that fewer molecules are available underneath the aircraft's wings to create enough lift to push the plane into the sky. Second, the thrust produced by the engine is also reduced due to thin air. And third, while landing the aircraft, in addition to the brakes on the wheels, the pilots use reverse thrust to slow down the aircraft while landing. It's a slightly tricky question, but if you think logically, it's not that difficult to answer. The reason why we're discussing this is that in the past few days, a lot of flights in Leh have been cancelled because of unusually high temperatures, or temperatures in Leh are going above 30 degrees Celsius, which is unusually high in Leh. Because of these high temperatures, what is happening is that the air is becoming pretty light and thin. That is making it difficult for the aircrafts to take off because they are not being able to generate enough thrust. That is why all these three statements are correct. The answer here again is C. Thrust is required for the aircraft to take off. It is reduced due to presence of thin air because there is a much bigger space between the molecules of air now. This is an explained article in the Indian Express newspaper again about the reasons behind Leh flight cancellations, the impact of high temperature, low air density on the aircraft. Do read that. It's a very, very interesting article. Next question, number 4. Which of the following is not true about lithium? It is an alkali mineral. It is also called as white gold. It is a hard silvery white metal. It is the lightest metal of the periodic table. Which of these is not true about lithium? Think about it. Now, if you see, there are two statements that are slightly contrary to each other. They are contradictory. First, it is hard and then it is lightest. So, if something is hard, it's difficult for that to be the lightest metal. So, one of them seems not to be true. The answer here is C. It is actually a soft silvery white metal and not a hard metal. Because it's a soft silvery white metal, that is why the answer here is C. Others are true. This is an alkali mineral called as a white gold. It is the lightest metal of the periodic table. It is important because if you remember a few months back, we had this groundbreaking discovery of lithium in Jammu and Kashmir. And we thought that would be the end of India's troubles or India's search for critical minerals. Lithium deposits found in Kashmir can be a game changer. But in reality, the government of India has not been able to find buyers to extract lithium from Jammu and Kashmir. Locals here, as you can see in the Raisi district, which has a mineral deposits, have discovered it, but the Ministry of Mines has not been able to auction this in a manner that we wanted. It is about 18 months since deposits of 5.9 million tons of lithium ore were found, one of the largest amongst the world. But the industry does not really seem to be interested because they think it will be extremely difficult to extract those minerals out of there. It will be difficult to extract and process the lithium because of the reporting standards. Next question, number 5. Consider the following statements. Number 1. India is ranked first in milk production, contributing 25% of global milk production. Second, milk production in India is sufficient in meeting the domestic demand. Third, government has also extended Kisan credit card facility to animal husbandry and dairy farmers for their working capital requirement. How many of these are correct? There's a detailed article on the PIB portal. If you see about India's farming dairy sector specifically, and all these statements have been taken from there. India, as you know, is the largest milk producer in the world and contributes 1/4 of the global milk production. Second is also true, we are self-sufficient to meet the domestic demand of milk. So, we don't necessarily have to import milk to meet our own domestic demands. Third is also true. To give a push to farmers who are into dairy sector, the government has extended Kisan credit card facility to the dairy farmers as well. The answer thus is C. All these three here again are correct. This is the article on the PIB portal. Atmanirbhar Bharat in the dairy sector. It gives you all this information as you can see here. The per capita demand or per capita availability in India of milk right now is 459 grams per day. This is an important number. The annual rate of growth for the dairy sector in India is seen to be about 6% in the last 9 years. So it is a positive sign going forward. The government is also running multiple schemes to give a boost to this sector. To end the session, again, we have an important quote that you can use in your mains answer writing. If your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. But if your plan is for 100 years, educate children. It underlines the importance of education for our future generations. If you're new here, do hit the like and the subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. And do join us tomorrow as well for the next session of the daily quiz at 9 p.m. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.